Hi, this is Chris at Clever Unicorn Games and the Unicorn Collective back with another designer interview. Today I have Trevor and Alyssa Scott with me. How are you doing today?
Very well.
Awesome.
So guys, tell me what you like to do when you're not creating or playing games. What is your other activities for your spare time?
My current favorite things to do are improv and guitar. And I did improv yesterday, but I haven't done guitar in like 2 weeks because of being so swamped for Kickstarter.
What about guitar improv? You tried that?
I actually have tried that.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's songwriting, I guess, you know.
No, but on the spot, on stage, writing a song on
Yeah,
stage
not yet, no,
with
but I
comedy as
will.
well.
Getting there.
That's what I want to do, like Flight of the Conchords,
Oh,
like
I love Flight of the
comedy
Conchords.
kind of.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
And Trevor, what
Yeah,
do you like
and
to do?
oh man, I like to play video games.
Yeah.
That's that's been how I got into game designing, really, as a 10-year-old playing StarCraft, the first one, doing the little campaign editor thing. So yeah, I like to play the games, and Alyssa and I also like to get up to various art activities, sorts of stuff. We're in New Orleans, so we got to be thinking about our Mardi Gras costumes every year.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Do you go
You've become
crazy
a
with your
pro.
Mardi Gras costumes?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, oh man. We'll have to show you after.
Oh yeah.
Made crazy hats and suits out of cardboard and painted and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
it sounds like a lot of fun. I love making
You
stuff
gotta
like that.
come.
Yeah.
You've gotta come down sometime.
Mhm.
Stay with us.
What is it that inspired you to start making a board game?
Well, I started this project because I wanted to play a game with my dad that
Oh,
he could handle playing, because he's not a board gamer or a gamer in any sense of the word.
He doesn't want to deal with any setup at all. Like if he has to read rules, it's not happening.
So, well, he taught me how to play rummy and cribbage and stuff when I was growing up, and so I wanted to play something with him, and it just never really stuck. So we wanted to make something that was, very simple. Well, not simple, but simple initially. Yeah.
We met 5 years ago, and he is the one that got me into TTRPGs, but playing role-playing games, that's how I kind of fell in love with everything, and I was like, "How have I been missing this world?"
Yep.
Neither of us found it until we were in our 20s, but as far as RPGs, but yeah, and I just wanted to do everything gaming once I fell in love.
What is your favorite game? So each of you, what is your favorite board game?
I really like the Battlestar Galactica board game.
It's a good game.
With the Cylons and the hidden objectives and this semi-cooperative, and oh my god, it's a lot of fun.
Yep,
And
definitely.
it was definitely pretty inspirational for our game. I would say that my favorite game is Arkham Horror.
Mm.
It's the one that really it gets me every time. I get really invested, and I'm so sad when I inevitably lose.
That is one that I've never played. I've played Eldritch Horror and really enjoyed it.
Uh-huh.
Played that a couple of times, but that's more worldwide spreading, isn't it? Whereas
Yeah,
Arkham's
Yeah.
kind of
yeah.
more
But
condensed.
it's
But I've not played it yet, but I've
you
heard
know
good things.
one.
Have you
You
played the
know
new?
one.
Is it the new third edition that you've played, or do you play the older one with all the extra stuff?
I'd have to look at our game.
Did you
I
get it
think it's
within the
the older
last 2
one.
years?
No.
Then it's probably the second edition because they released the third edition, I think, about 18 months or 2 years ago.
Oh really?
Which changed everything, all the mechanics
Oh,
and everything all changed.
damn.
So none of the
Wow.
expansions and that work. But apparently the new one is pretty good.
Even
So
better.
Cool.
All right.
yeah, so there you go. You've learned something. Woo,
Nice.
Yeah,
I've been
that's what
helpful.
we're here for.
When you come to start designing a game, so you have the idea in your head, where do you go to first?
We actually just experienced the beginning of a new game when we were driving up to visit Trevor's family in Michigan. The entire car ride, basically one way, not both ways. We just sat there in the car, writing down ideas, trying to see what would work, and we got such a cool idea going. I'm so excited about it.
Oh, is that for the next project?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, it won't happen until way later because it's just in its infancy. But Yeah, I mean, we don't generally actually start playing it until, I mean, if it's with changes to Facility 7, yeah, we would do that. But in the very beginning, I feel like we don't really play it.
It takes a lot of imagining game mechanics and kind of
Mhm.
thinking, okay, if that's how that's going to work, then let me just kind of play it in my head a little
Yeah,
bit and see
exactly.
where it's going to stick and where, people are going to, I try to imagine where the problems are more than the solutions. Because there's a lot
Mhm.
of great ideas out there,
Oh,
but they
yeah.
don't always work together.
Mhm.
Yep. And when you do that, do you just write it down and then share it with each other and see what each other thinks? That sort of.
Yes, a lot of back and forth discussion.
Yeah.
Eventually, we start making prototype cards. And then in the past, what we've done is printed it out and played with each other and, got some friends over, like you're saying. But recently, we've learned about Tabletopia,
Mm.
which is this online thing where you can play board games. You can also upload your own games,
Yep.
and each card it's so easy. I'm
Yep.
really looking forward to the next playtest of our next project
Yep.
because it's going to be so much better.
Yeah, I found the same
Oh,
thing, but with Tabletop Simulator, because I Tabletopia was a bit harder for me, so Tabletop Simulator was easier for me to put them on there. I still struggle with Tabletopia,
See,
but
it's funny, we have the opposite.
yeah, but
yeah.
they're both brilliant tools because, and this is the thing people didn't really realize. I'm pretty sure both of those companies have made a lot of money since lockdown, because
Oh,
before, when it was easy to go out to maybe a gaming group or something or go to
mhm.
friends' houses, that was great. But then everybody was told, no, you can't do that. And then the smart people went to Tabletopia and TTS, and now
Exactly.
I think coming out of lockdown eventually, when it gets there, um, people will still be sticking with it because it's so
Oh,
much
yeah.
easier and cheaper for new designers who can't afford to get prototypes made up and send them all around the world, sort of thing. Can just sit on there, put it on there for free, and then play it with anybody you want. And with all these new groups for play testing and stuff coming up as well, on Discord especially.
Because even though you can just go out, it's still really helpful to be able to play with anyone, anywhere in the world that you
Yep.
wanna play with, you know?
Hey, so, if you ever played a game that you really didn't like, and you don't have to mention any names of games, but what is a mechanic or a theme of that
Mm,
game that put you off completely?
I know one we were just talking about.
Yeah, go for it.
We were talking about how we don't love that cooperative games can sometimes feel like it's just too obvious what's supposed to happen, and it's still fun, but it's a little bit more like doing a puzzle than it is playing a game where, like, you're out to get your stake in it
Yep.
and win.
Yeah, so that kind of tends to push us towards semi-cooperative. I love semi-cooperative. I'm not a huge
Mhm.
fan if you're just trying to kill each other, beat each other the whole time, but I also don't love if you're just trying to work together too
Mm.
much, which is where, my love of Battlestar comes in because it's like
Totally.
so good.
Yeah, no, 100% I think I've only played it twice now, but both times have been absolutely brilliant. I mean, the memorable one was where I actually didn't become a Cylon until the last two turns because
Oh.
the guy that was playing Baltar got both Cylon cards and then
Mm,
gave one to me right before the end of the game. So
Oh,
and then I had two
snap.
turns to help him stop them from coming
yeah.
home, which we did, which was good.
I was about to
Um,
say,
yeah,
it's
so
probably memorable because you won.
well, it was
Yeah.
memorable because I was trying so hard to win for the humans, and then suddenly in the
Oh.
last two turns, it was like flipped on its head. And I'd done so much good work to try and get us there that then suddenly I had to think, oh wow, I've got to try and undo everything that I've done up until this point. It was weird, and
Yeah.
that's it's a good experience to have. Why is it that you make games? What is it that you want to get from the making of
I just can't help it.
them?
That's
There you
de
go.
it's
That's a good answer.
That's definitely true, and, honestly, the fact that he can't help it is kind of what made me not be able to help it, because I was like, "This is so addicting."
Yeah, it's something that
Well,
you're doing
we
for other people, isn't it, really? I mean, you're not really doing it for you're
yeah,
doing it for other people, and to
exactly.
see that smile on their faces, and even not the smile, sometimes it's to see
Yeah,
their serious
totally.
faces, they're thinking and doing something, it is kind
Yeah,
of addictive.
we are kind of in the experience business. We have our tour company here in New Orleans. We do walking tours and stuff, and we're always trying to innovate there. We ended up building a whole set in our house
Our living room
that
has a pirate ship and a mannequin dressed as a 1920s flapper.
Okay.
yeah, and there's like a whole serial killer with like an axe and a big serial killer note. This is all New Orleans history. This is
This
all
is all
real
real
stuff that
shit.
happened, and
It's
we
not
had
just some
people
crazy
over.
people's front room.
Yeah.
There is
a
history.
little bit, but we have people over, and we sell tickets, and people come. Well, not anymore, but
Yeah, right.
before, in the before times, people would come over. We'd do a show where we dressed up as vampires from New Orleans history again. We got a lot of interesting history down here, and
And it's like
we
a
turned it
escape
into a
room/. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not that, but it's kind of like that.
We turned
Puzzles
it
and
into
stuff.
a game, is what I'm trying to get to. It's
Yeah.
a game. There's puzzles. There's it's like an escape room mixed with a storytelling theater experience or something. And so it's never ending, these games. We've got another thing. Got another project called Zero Session, where it's an online marketplace that we started for game masters who are running tabletop RPGs. They can list paid games and players can book them like that,
Oh, right.
like they're
Okay.
buying tickets to a show. We're making all sorts of stuff, and games are a huge part of that.
Definitely.
Every time we do anything, there's always games at the center, and I don't know why. That's a really good question, but
Because why would you not make everything more fun? Like, why would you not?
there you go.
I think we're both very into that, and so it's like obvious.
Yeah,
Have you ever thought about actually making something for RPGs as well, like adventures or
yeah. I've
campaign
made
settings
several
or?
homebrew RPG systems that I've not published anything, but I've got a couple that are like on the edge of potentially being published.
And there's
And
stuff on Drive-Thru RPG
yeah, we've got some supplements up.
generators and stuff.
And Alyssa is starting her game master career, so
Mhm.
Oh, it's
who
fun.
knows where
So
that's
much
going to
fun.
take us.
Beginning of quarantine.
It's so much fun. It really is. There's nothing better to be doing with an evening. Yeah, than telling a story and hoping that everybody gets invested with it instead of just trying to murder everything.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
true.
That's right.
What would be a piece of advice that you would give to a new designer who just has an idea, and they want to start in the business? What advice would you give from what you've learned so far?
Mm. I would say make sure that you try to find a good balance between staying true to your vision and taking criticism from other people. You definitely want to listen to what other people are saying and try to make that a part of your game where possible. But then you also have to know when to say this person is maybe just being a little
A little picky.
Pedantic.
they yeah, right.
Yeah, I
And is this
totally
gonna
agree with
help
that.
everyone?
Yep.
A lot of our biggest kind of innovations in Facility 7 came from playtesting and people saying, oh, wouldn't it be interesting if you did this? And we were like, yeah, yeah, that would be interesting. And it took us on a whole journey. So, Facility 7 is probably 25% made of suggestions.
Or
We only did
inspired.
75. Yeah, exactly. It's inspired.
No, that is brilliant. That is a great answer to end the interview. Thank you very much for coming and speaking to me today. This has been brilliant.
Absolutely. Thanks for having
Thanks,
us.
Chris.
This was a lot
Had a
of
great
fun.
time.